Hey, blessed ambassadors, welcome to today's edition of What? On My Mind. But here we go anyway. Hey guys, the last couple of weeks have been amazing, right? Last Sunday we had Pastor Josh talking about come and see. And the week before that we had Pastor Sam saying do not trust the dust. Right? So I hope you've been listening to those messages, meditating on them, because they have been amazing. They are amazing. You know, something Pastor Josh said this past week that really stuck with me was, don't put yourself in the center, right? Put the Lord Jesus in the center of whatever's going on with you. And on the surface, that sounds, well, of course that makes sense. Of course I want to put the Lord Jesus in the center because I have no control over this thing. As I was meditating on that, though, I realized that sometimes maybe we don't put ourselves in the center, but we put that pain or that lack or that relationship issue or something, that job issue, something that's on our minds, we put that in the center. Not purposefully, but it just comes up. Like, what are we meditating on, right? Like what Pastor Sam said, what are you watering? And I found myself watering the wrong things. And I realized that as I'm watering the wrong things, I'm putting that thing in the center. So I had to shift my paradigm and put Jesus in the center. I keep reminding myself, put Jesus in the center, right? And so let me give you an illustration that has been feeding me, my spirit, my heart, and I hope it encourages you as well. You know, there's a saying that goes, every plan is perfect until the first punch is thrown. Every plan is perfect until the first punch is thrown. And so I was thinking of the Lord Jesus, that as he's in heaven with God, our Father, that the Lord's telling him this is what's going to happen. And, you know, from the moment that the snake deceived Adam and Eve, he said, you know, my seed is going to step on your, anyway, you know what it is. So from that time, and even before that, I'm sure, but from that time forward, Jesus knew what was going to happen. And I think about him just going through time, then he's born and he's living 30 years, and then 31 years, 32 years, 33 years, and then the time comes. And he's in the Garden of Gethsemane, right, praying to the Father. And this is coming from Matthew 26. You know, praying to the Father 3 times. Lord, if this can pass from me, then please let it pass from me. And I think at that moment he was getting because he was completely human. He was completely human like us, right? That he's getting the revelation or the thought, man, this is going to be horrid. It's going to be horrible. It's going to feel horrible, painful. And the worst part is I'm going to be separated from the Father because of sin that I'm taking on, right? So I think about Jesus in the garden. All that's coming on him. And then they come to arrest him. And Matthew 26 is where Judas kisses him, right? And in Matthew 26 is where Peter cuts off the ear of the slave. Right, but in that moment, keep in mind, in that moment, Jesus said this, put your sword away. Don't you know that if I wanted to, I could call 12 legions of angels to take care of this? Ambassadors, 12 legions of angels are 72,000 angels. But how many did he really need? Well, back in Genesis, it just took 2 to completely wipe out Sodom and Gomorrah, right? So 72,000, it would have completely wiped out every single thing that came against the Lord Jesus. But in that moment, when they came for him, he didn't do that. He just willingly went with them. So I'm thinking about what I shared with you about that saying, that at some point the first punch was thrown. The first person hit Jesus in the face. In that moment, I don't know about you, but I would definitely say, okay, never mind, angels, come out and get these people. But the Lord Jesus, in his love for you, right, in his love for the Father, his love for me, and his love to fulfill the scriptures so that you and I can live today righteous, free, completely restored to the Father, that in that moment where you and I would have called down the angels, the 72,000 angels to wipe everyone out, the Lord Jesus kept quiet. And I share that with the ambassadors because I hope that you'll get a deeper sense of his love for you, of his desire for you to live free, his desire for you to be restored, completely restored. Whatever's been taken from you, He wants to completely restore it. And he did it because when you and I would have said, angels, come down and destroy these people, he kept quiet. And I want you to hear that in that, ambassadors, it's his love for you. It's his desire for you to live united and aligned with the Father and with himself. So in that, I pray that it causes you to think, okay, I'm going to keep putting Jesus in the center because of his love for me. And that's what it all came down to. His deep love for you in that moment when he could have called down the angels, but he didn't, because he loved you and he loved me. And now we get to live righteous, we get to live free, completely restored to the Father, and even better, we get to live blameless and spotless and completely without sin. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? But here's another thing. The other thing Pastor Josh mentioned in his message, Come and See, was the lady at the well. Guys, think about this. A lady evangelizing to men at that time was like, I don't think so, right? Just because of what the men thought of women at that time. But then a woman with her reputation evangelizing to men, like even more so. Except that they listened to her, and I believe they listened to her, Pastor Josh said, because of her encounter with Jesus. So in this year, when Pastor Prince has prophesied that we're going to evangelize, right? I didn't mean to be a poet, but here we go. It's this, ambassadors, that the more time you spend with Jesus, you're going to be able to speak to people, to evangelize to people, and sometimes you won't even have to use words, because they will see what the Lord Jesus has done in your life to bless you, to heal you, to prosper you, to restore you, to resurrect you, whatever that is, right? They'll see it on you, and then you'll point to Jesus. And I'm declaring that happens to you as you keep Jesus in the center, right? So they'll say, come and see what the Lord has done in your life, because I see it, right? All right, ambassadors, thanks for this time together. I pray you're blessed, you're highly favored, and as always, peace out.